Korean War, which lasted from 1950 to 1953, was a significant conflict that shaped the course of modern history. In this war, over 5 million military personnel from around the world participated, and among them were thousands of African Americans who played critical roles. Their experiences and contributions during the Korean War are often overshadowed in historical narratives, but they highlight both the struggle for civil rights and the complexities of race relations in the military. I find it essential to examine the vital role African Americans played in the Korean War, how the war impacted their lives, and how their service contributed to the broader civil rights movement. The backdrop of the Korean War must be understood within the context of the post-World War II era. Following the end of World War II, the United States emerged as a global superpower, and the Cold War began to define international relations. The ideological struggle between the United States and the Soviet Union resulted in a series of conflicts, including the Korean War, which pitted North Korea, supported by the Soviet Union, and China against South Korea, backed by the United States and other Western nations. This war was not only a fight against the spread of communism, but also a conflict that exposed the racial divisions within the United States itself. Before the Korean War, the military was still segregated, and African Americans served in separate units under discriminatory policies. The Jim Crow laws that enforced racial segregation in the South permeated military culture, reflecting a society deeply divided by race. In World War II, African Americans had fought bravely, but they faced significant challenges, including limited opportunities for advancement and frequent instances of discrimination. This pattern continued into the Korean War. Nevertheless, the experiences of African Americans during this conflict marked a turning point that would influence the civil rights movement in the years to come. As the war began, the United States Army struggled to meet its manpower needs. The war's intensity and the urgency of the situation led to a gradual shift in military policies. African Americans were assigned to combat roles in larger numbers than before. Many served in integrated units, a significant change from previous wars. This integration occurred largely because the military needed capable soldiers, regardless of race. African Americans fought bravely in battles such as the Pusan Perimeter, Incheon, and Chosin Reservoir, where they proved their mettle and dedication. One of the most notable African American units during the Korean War was the 24th Infantry Regiment, part of the U.S. Army's 25th Infantry Division. This regiment had a long history, having served in World War I and World War II. However, it also faced systemic racism and a lack of resources compared to white units. Despite these challenges, the 24th Infantry Regiment displayed incredible courage and skill in combat. In battles like the fight at the Pusan Perimeter, they were essential in holding the line against North Korean forces. Their heroism did not go unnoticed, as many soldiers earned commendations and medals for their bravery. Another significant unit was the 2nd Infantry Division, which included the 7th and 8th Regiments. These regiments were integrated units that comprised African American and white soldiers. The integration of these regiments challenged the status quo and demonstrated that soldiers could work together effectively regardless of their race. During intense combat situations, the bond formed between soldiers transcended racial divisions. Their shared experiences on the battlefield often led to friendships that would last a lifetime, highlighting the potential for unity even in a segregated society. The experiences of African American soldiers in Korea were not without difficulties. Despite their bravery, they often encountered racism from their fellow soldiers and even their superiors. Some white soldiers held onto prejudices and discriminated against their black counterparts, creating a challenging environment. Incidents of racial tension and conflict within the ranks were not uncommon, leading to a need for the military to address these issues. commanders often attempted to mitigate these tensions, recognizing that the effectiveness of the unit relied on cohesion and teamwork. As the war progressed, the contributions of African Americans began to receive more recognition. The successful integration of units and the bravery displayed by black soldiers on the front lines caught the attention of the American public. However, this recognition did not translate into immediate social change. The military remained segregated until President Harry Truman issued Executive Order 9981 in 1948, which called for the desegregation of the armed forces. While this order was implemented after the Korean War began, the conflict highlighted the need for change and set the stage for further advancements in civil rights. The Korean War had lasting effects on the African American community and their fight for equality. Many soldiers returned home with a heightened awareness of their rights and a determination to challenge the status quo. Their experiences in combat, where they fought alongside white soldiers, contributed to a growing belief that segregation was unjust and that African Americans deserved equal treatment. The war acted as a catalyst for change, energizing activists and inspiring future generations to continue the struggle for civil rights. Organizations like the NAACP and the National Urban League worked tirelessly to advocate for the rights of African Americans after the war. Veterans became prominent voices in these organizations, sharing their experiences and calling for an end to racial discrimination. Their stories underscored the contradictions of fighting for freedom abroad while being denied those same freedoms at home. The resolve of these veterans added momentum to the civil rights movement, leading to landmark events such as the Montgomery bus boycott and the March on Washington. The lessons learned from the Korean War resonated beyond the battlefield. African American soldiers recognized that their service was not just a fight against communism, but also a fight for equality and justice within their own country. The ideals of democracy and freedom they fought for in Korea fueled their desire for civil rights at home. This understanding laid the groundwork for the larger civil rights movement of the 1960s, which aimed to dismantle institutional racism and ensure equal rights for all Americans. The legacy of African Americans in the Korean War continues to be felt today. Their bravery and sacrifice serve as reminders of the complexities of race in the military and the ongoing struggle for equality. As we reflect on their contributions, it is essential to acknowledge the challenges they faced and the resilience they demonstrated. Their service not only shaped the outcome of the Korean War, but also influenced the trajectory of the civil rights movement. In conclusion, the role of African Americans in the Korean War was vital and transformative. Despite facing systemic racism and discrimination, they served with honor and distinction, often in integrated units that challenged racial norms. Their experiences in Korea helped catalyze the civil rights movement, inspiring future generations to continue the fight for equality. Thank you for watching this video on the role of African Americans in the Korean War. If you know anyone in the military, please share this video. Thank you for your service.